Hi, good evening friends. Now we are going to derive an expression for the electric potential at a point due to an electric dipole. Now, what is an electric dipole? It is a system consisting of two equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance. Okay. So here the dipole consists of two charges, namely minus q situated at B and plus q situated at A, such that O is the midpoint of the dipole. So the distance of separation between the two charges is 2A, that is equally divided as A plus A with respect to the midpoint. Now I have told you that at any point surrounding this system there will be two electric fields. In a similar way, at any point there will be two electric potentials, one due to the negative charge, the other one is due to the positive charge. So we have to add these two potentials to get an expression for the net electric potential. So I have chosen a point P at which we are supposed to derive an expression for the potential. So what is the electric potential at the point P due to the electric dipole we want to derive? So for that I have joined the point P with the center of the dipole, that is O, such that the distance OP is equal to R. Okay. Similarly, I have joined the point P to the point A where plus Q is located, and this distance PA is denoted as R1. Similarly, the distance of the point P from B where minus Q is located is denoted as R2. Okay. But actually we are supposed to derive an expression for the electric potential at the point P in terms of the distance R. Okay. So how many potentials will be there at the point P? I said 2. One is due to the positive charge and the other one is due to the negative charge. Now look at the steps. So potential, okay, the potential at P due to plus Q. So due to the charge plus Q. Where is plus Q located? At the point A. Okay. What is its distance from the point P? It is R1. So I will take the symbol V1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into, this is what, plus Q. So this is Q divided by R1. Q divided by R1. Understand that? So this is the expression for the potential at the point P due to this positive charge plus Q located at A. Okay. Similarly, I will get an expression for the potential. So the potential at P due to the charge minus Q, due to this charge also there will be another potential at the same point. And let us take the symbol, for example, that is V2 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into minus Q divided by R2. It is taking a negative sign because the given charge is minus Q. So the potential at any point due to a positive charge is also positive, and the potential at the same point due to the negative charge will be negative. That is why here in the expression for V1 Q is positive and for V2 Q is negative. Okay. Therefore net potential, the net potential at P, okay, at P is, that is, the net potential means due to the dipole, is taken as V is equal to V1 plus V2, and this is equation 1. I hope you must have understood equation 1. So it is a scalar, potential is a scalar. Therefore directly we can add the algebraic sum of the potentials V1 and V2, so that we can get the net electric potential at the point P due to the entire dipole. Okay. But I have to substitute for V1 and V2. Okay. So V is now equal to, instead of V1 we have to substitute this equation. So this is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1. Okay. And instead of V2 what I should substitute? It is minus Q. So this is minus q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. Carefully you check each term and then you substitute in equation 1. So in place of V1 what we have substituted? This is q by 4 pi epsilon naught R1. Okay. In place of V2 what we have to substitute? That is minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. Is it right? You check which are the common factors as constants here. So this is equal to what? Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So this is another step. We can call it as equation 2. So this is equation 2. Have you all understood up to this? Why this is not the final expression? Because in terms of the distance R, we are supposed to derive the equation for V. But here there are terms R1 and R2. Therefore, we are supposed to express these distances R1 and R2 in terms of the distance R. For that, what we are going to do with the help of the geometry, we are going to use the cosine rule. Cosine rule. Okay. So, now cosine rule, that is applying cosine rule. Okay. That is to triangle. In first triangle, that is a OPA. I will take the first triangle is OPA. Now you see that the straight line OP makes an angle theta with the axis of the dipole. With the axis of the dipole, what is the angle made by the straight line OP is theta. Okay. What should be the remaining angle then? The remaining angle is 180 minus theta on the left side. On the right side, the angle theta is made. Look at the triangle OPA. This is not a right angled triangle. Understand? If it is a right angled triangle means we can take that this is along the equatorial line. Is it not? If it is a right angled triangle, then R1 square must be equal to R square plus A square directly. But since this theta is an acute angle, okay, it is not right angle. So we are using the cosine rule. So here R1 square must be equal to, so R1 square must be equal to R square plus A square. First is the R square plus A square minus 2AR into cos of the angle between these two. Okay. So what is R1 square is equal to R square plus A square minus 2AR into cos of theta. Understand that? Okay. So this is now equal to, that is equal to R square. R square is taken as a common factor. So the first term will be what? 1. Plus the second term will be what? A square by R square. Is it not? I have taken R square as a common factor, is it not? So when I multiply R square into 1, first term will come R square. When I multiply R square into A square by R square, second term should come. Is it not? But here there is no R square term. So what I can do, I can multiply by R and divide by R. So that when R square is taken out, 2A cos theta by R will come. Is it not? So this is minus 2A cos theta, okay, by R. Okay, so that when it is multiplied means this R square and R get cancelled, we will get minus 2AR cos theta. Understand? Okay. Now in this picture you see that the distances R1, R and R2 are very large comparing to the distance 2A as well as A. Therefore we can write like this: since A square is very much less than R square, A square is neglected. A square is A square by R square can be neglected. Okay. So this term A square by R square term can be neglected. Therefore, what is the remaining step is what? R1 square is equal to R square into 1 minus 2A cos theta. 2A cos theta divided by R. Okay. Now this is a square term and this also is a square term. I will take square root. So taking square root, okay, taking square root, the left hand side square root of R1 square will become what? R1. So left hand side of this, that is square root of R1 square will become R1. And On the right hand side, square root of r square will become r. And the square root of the bracketed term can be written as what? Whole power half, whole power 1 by 2. Am I right? So this is equal to 1 minus 2a cos theta by r whole power 1 by 2. Whole power 1 by 2. Now I am going to take reciprocal. Okay, taking reciprocal is the next step. If you take the reciprocal on the left hand side, means what will be the term? 1 by r1. Am I right? So this is 1 by r1 is equal to, right hand side will become what? This will become reciprocal as 1 by r. But if I take the reciprocal of this term having a power 1 by 2, we can retain the term in the numerator and change the power to minus 1 by 2. Shall we do like that? Is it right? Okay. So this is again 1 by r into, that is the reciprocal is what? 1 minus 2a cos theta by r whole power minus 1 by 2. Okay, I have taken the reciprocals. Now, there is a theorem called binomial theorem. You look at the bracketed term. The bracketed term is like 1 minus x whole power n. N is a constant and x is a variable. So 1 minus x whole power n. 1 plus x whole power n. We can expand this. When you expand, only the first two terms will have some appreciable value and the higher order terms will vanish. Okay, the higher order terms will vanish. So expanding binomially. So expanding binomially. Binomial theorem is applied and it is expanded. And retaining only the first two terms. So this can be written as what? 1 by r1 is equal to 1 by r into 1 minus nx. 1 minus nx. So n, the power n is already a negative term. So minus of minus will become what? Plus. And n value is what? 2. So this can be written as 1 plus 1 by 2 into 2a cos theta by r. Okay. This n is equal to minus 1 by 2. Minus of minus will become plus 1 by 2 into remaining term 2a cos theta by r. So that this 2 and 2 get cancelled. Okay. Therefore, now I can write 1 by r1 is equal to 1 by r into 1 plus a cos theta whole divided by r. Like this it will come. And this can be taken as equation 3. So up to this, have you all understood? Are we able to express r1 in terms of r? Okay, like that. Now we have to express 1 by r2. 1 by r2 in terms of 1 by r. So for that, what? Cosine rule. So cosine rule is applicable for a triangle. The other triangle is what? OPB. So OPB. Okay, for OPB. So similarly, we started cosine rule to triangle OPA, is it not? And what we wrote, r1 square is equal to r square plus a square minus 2ar into cos of that angle. So here I am writing here. So r2 square. So r2 square must be equal to what? R square plus a square minus 2ar into cos of 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta. Cos of 180 minus theta is equal to what? Okay, minus 1. So minus of minus will become plus. So this is now equal to, so this is equal to r square plus a square plus 2ar into cos theta. Okay, into cos theta. Here what it came? Minus 2ar cos theta, and here plus 2ar into cos theta has come. Now after this, all these steps you are supposed to take a paper and you have to derive it. Will you do it or not? Okay. Shall I directly express that following the same steps? Following the same steps, we can write what? Similarly, I will write similarly. In place of 1 by r1, I am going to write what? 1 by r2 is equal to what? What you will get finally? And this is equal to 1 minus a cos theta by r. 1 minus a cos theta by r you will get. Therefore, This is step number 4. Okay, this is equation number 4. Okay, so in this, once again, which are the very important equations you have to remember? The net potential V is equal to V1 plus V2. Then in the second equation, the net potential is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. We have to express 1 by R1 and 1 by R2 in terms of 1 by R. So third equation is what? 1 by R1. See, this 1 by R1 is equal to 1 by R into 1 plus A cos theta by R. Similarly, 1 by R2 is equal to 1 by R into 1 minus A cos theta by R. This is equation 4. Now, what we can do? These 3 and 4th equation, we have to substitute for 1 by R1 and 1 by R2 in terms of 1 by R. Have you understood? Okay. Now, I will erase this side and I am going to continue this. Have you copied up to this step? Shall I proceed? Good. Okay, now we are supposed to substitute for 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. So, V is now equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R into 1 plus A cos theta by R minus 1 by R into 1 minus A cos theta by R. I have substituted, which is a common factor is 1 by R again. So, this is now equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. This 1 by R has come out. Don't forget the term. Okay. Into. Okay. The first term is 1 plus A cos theta by R. So, this is A cos theta by R. Now, open the bracket. We have taken 1 by R out already. So, minus 1. So, this is minus 1. Then minus of minus will become what? Plus. So, this is plus A cos theta plus A cos theta divided by R. And this is 1 minus 1 can be cancelled. So, this is equal to what? Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into R into. So, A cos theta by R plus A cos theta by R is equal to what? 2A cos theta by R. So, this is equal to 2A cos theta divided by R. Okay. So, this is now equal to this product of Q and 2A. So, the product of Q and 2A is equal to what? The electric dipole moment P, small p. You can see here this P vector. Dipole moment of the electric dipole is acting from the negative charge towards the positive charge. So, its magnitude is what? P equal to 2A into Q. So, I have grouped the terms. So, this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into P cos theta. Okay, P cos theta divided by R into R will become what? R square. P cos theta by R square. Understood? So, therefore, the net potential V is equal to P cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. This is the electric potential. Understand? Suppose if you take a P cap is the unit vector along the direction of P. It can also be expressed in vector form, dot product of two vectors also. Okay, but anyhow, this is a scalar quantity. So, V is a scalar quantity. Okay, potential is a scalar quantity. This is the final expression for the electric potential at any point. Depending upon the value of this theta, we can calculate the potential, okay, at any point. Now, there are some special cases, okay, special cases. So, what are the special cases? You see here, I will take case 1. Case 1, if P, this P is lying along the axial line. So, point P along the axial line, okay, axial line near plus Q. When this point is taken along the axial line like this, here or here along the axial line. So, what will be theta here in this case? Theta is equal to 0 and cos theta is equal to what? Cos 0. Cos 0 is equal to how much? 1. So, if you substitute cos theta is equal to 1 means therefore what is V equal to? V equal to positive, that is plus small p divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. So, this is what? Positive. The potential is positive. Similarly, you take the case 2. Okay, case 2, if this point P, okay, P is lying on the left side here, point P is along the axial line. Still, if P is along the axial line, and it is now near minus Q, this side. So what will be then? Theta is equal to here, theta is equal to pi radian, that is 180 degree, and cos theta is equal to cos 180, that is equal to what? Minus 1. So cos theta is equal to minus 1 if you substitute, means what? Therefore V is equal to minus small p divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Is it not? Here positive and here it is negative. And case 3, if you take along the equatorial line, that is P lies on the equatorial line. Equatorial line means theta is equal to how much? It is 90 degree. Okay, equatorial line. So if you take any equatorial line passing through the midpoint O, means theta will be equal to 90 degree. So here theta is equal to 90 degree and cos theta is equal to cos 90 degree, and cos 90 is equal to what? 0. Therefore the potential along the equatorial V is equal to 0. So when the point P lies along the axial line towards the positive charge side anywhere at a distance r, means then the potential is positive, that is equal to P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And suppose if the point P lies along the left side, that is along the axial line anywhere towards the negative charge, then here V is equal to negative minus P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Or suppose if point P, so at any point along the equatorial line, means the potential is found to be 0. Okay students, have you understood how to derive an expression for the electric potential at any point due to an electric dipole? I hope you must have understood. So the general expression is what? V equal to P cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Understood? Okay, fine. We will again continue with the next topic. Electric potential energy due to a system of charges. Earlier we have discussed the electric potential energy of a single point charge, which is defined as the work done in bringing the charge from infinity and placing at the point P. Okay. Now, a system consisting of two charges Q1 and Q2 I have taken. That means these two charges are brought from somewhere and they are kept separated at a distance R12. The distance between Q1 and Q2 is equal to what? R12. So to make this configuration as a two charge system, how much work is done? That is stored as the electrostatic potential energy or the electric potential energy of the system of two charges. So for this I am going to consider in two steps. Okay. So first from infinity I will bring the charge Q1. I will place the charge Q1 and it is brought from infinity. For this no work is done. To bring the charge Q1 from infinity and placing at the point A, no work is required because no other charge is going to disturb Q1. Already there is no charge present in the system. Only Q1 is brought from infinity and placed at A. For this the work done is equal to what? 0. Okay. And therefore the work done W1 is equal to what? 0. Now in such a situation I will choose a point B, okay, which is at a distance what? R12 from Q1. Okay. Now what is the potential at this point? You take for example this distance, at this distance R12 at the point B, what is the potential due to the charge Q1 placed at A? There will be some potential at this distance R12 due to the presence of the charge Q1 or not. So that potential V at this point B due to the first charge. So V1B means the potential at the point B due to the first charge Q1. and this is equal to what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 divided by r12, because this distance is what? r12. So the presence of the charge q1 at the point A will produce a potential at the point B, which is given by V1B, and that is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 divided by r12. Understand? How will you define the electric potential at the point B? It is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge, that is plus 1 coulomb, from infinity up to the point B against the electrostatic repulsion of the charge q1. But we are not bringing unit positive charge and place at B. In place of unit positive charge, which charge we are bringing from infinity up to the point B? That is equal to q2. So I bring from infinity and place a charge q2, and the work done in this step W2 must be equal to what? Q2 into V1B. Is it not? V1B is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge of plus 1 coulomb from infinity up to the point B. But in place of 1 coulomb of charge, how many coulomb of charge actually we are bringing from infinity? That is equal to Q2. Therefore, the potential must be equal to what? Q2 times V. Am I right? So the work done is equal to Q2 times V1B. Therefore, this is equal to therefore the total work done, which is equal to the potential energy of the system, epsilon. Okay, epsilon is equal to this W1 plus W2. So W1 is 0 and W2 is what? Q2 times V1. So this is equal to 0 plus Q2 times V1B. Instead of V1B, what I am going to substitute is Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this is Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R12. Therefore, the electrostatic potential energy of the two charge system is equal to Q1 into Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R12. So this is the expression for the electrostatic potential energy of the two charge system. Have you understood? So this will be useful in solving the numerical problems. Let us discuss a 3-charge system now. There are 3 charges, namely Q1, Q2 and Q3, placed at points A, B and C respectively. Now initially only one charge is brought. So first Q1 is brought from infinity and placed at the point A. When there is no other charge present in the system, only when Q1 is brought from infinity up to the point A, means here the work done is 0. So this is step 1. So in the step 1, Q1 is brought from infinity. Okay, Q1 is brought from infinity. Okay, up to which point? Up to the point A. And in this case, work done W1 is equal to 0. Why the work done is 0? Because there are no other charges, only Q1 is brought, and hence the work done is equal to 0. But at any point B, which is at a distance of R12, the presence of Q1 will produce an electric potential. So what will be the potential at this point? It is denoted by V1B. V1B. In such a situation, now let us discuss step 2. Okay, step 2. Now Q2 is brought from infinity. Okay, it is brought from infinity up to which point? Up to B. So up to the point B. Now Q3 is not present. Who is alone present is Q1. So when Q2 coulomb is brought from infinity up to the point B, it is being repelled by which charge? The charge Q1 will repel. So against the repulsion of Q1, when Q2 is brought up to a distance of R12 from Q1, work has to be done or not? Okay, if plus 1 coulomb is brought from infinity up to the point B, then that is denoted by V1B. Understand? But instead of a unit positive charge, how many coulomb of charge is brought actually from infinity up to the point B is Q2 coulomb. Therefore, the work done here, the work done in the second step must be equal to Q2 multiplied by V1B, and this is equal to Q2 multiplied by V1B is the potential at the point B due to the charge Q1. So this must be equal to what? Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R12. Therefore, the potential energy during this process U2 is equal to Q1 Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R12. So this is the work done during the second step. Now work done during the first step is equal to 0 already. Okay. Work done during the second step is U2 is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught into R12. So first step Q1 was brought alone. Second step, in the presence of Q1, Q2 was brought against the repulsion by Q1. Now what do we expect? The third charge Q3 is to be brought and placed at which point? C. C is at a distance R13 from Q1. It is at a distance R23 from Q2. Okay, now there will be potential here. The potential due to the charge Q1, the potential is V1C, and there will be potential due to the charge Q2. So there is another potential V2C. So how many potentials are present at the point C is two potentials. One is due to the presence of Q1, there will be an electric potential at point C, that is denoted by what? V1C. And due to the presence of Q2, there will be a potential at the same point C, that is denoted by what? V2C. In such a situation, now Q3 coulomb is brought from infinity up to the distance C. Therefore, work has to be done against the electric field of Q1 as well as Q2. Am I right? So that is the step 3. So in the step 3, you see here Q3 is brought. Q3 is brought from infinity. Okay, from infinity to which point? Up to which point it is brought? Up to C. So against the electric field, it is brought against the electric field repulsion of Q1 and Q2. Is it not? Therefore, the work done in the third step must be equal to Q3 times V1C plus Q3 times V2C, or this is equal to Q3 times V1C plus V2C. So the electric potential at the point C due to the charge Q1 is called as V1C. Is it not? So what should be the expression for this V1C? It must be equal to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R13. So this must be equal to Q3 multiplied by, instead of V1C, it is the potential at C due to the first charge. So this must be equal to what? Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into distance is what? R13. So this is R13 plus V2C means what? V2C means what? It is the potential at C due to the second charge Q2 at a distance R23. Therefore, that must be equal to what? V2C must be equal to what? Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R23. So this is equal to Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R23. So this is therefore the work done now is equal to U3. This is equal to Q1 into Q3 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R13 first term plus Q2 into Q3. So second term is what? Q2 into Q3 divided by what? Denominator is 4 pi epsilon naught into R23. So this is the expression for the work done during the third step. So in the first step U1 is equal to 0. In the second step U2 is equal to what? Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught into R12. In the third step, what is U3 is equal to Q1 Q3 by 4 pi epsilon naught R13, and it is added with the Q2 Q3 by 4 pi epsilon naught R23. So in the formation of this system consisting of three charges, totally how much work is done? No, that the total work done is stored as the electrostatic potential energy of the system consisting of three charges. Therefore, total energy, okay, total energy or electrostatic potential energy of the system is U equal to, okay, U equal to U1 plus U2 plus U3. U1 is 0, so it is U2 plus E3. That is therefore U, the total energy is equal to, what is the U2 is what? Q1, okay, Q1, Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R12 plus you add these two, Q1, Q3 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R13 plus third term is what? Q2, Q3 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R23. So there are three terms. Have you all understood? So once again I am repeating this, my dear students, learn carefully. Though there are three charges given to us, at a time all the three charges we are not going to consider. First, imagine in free space there is no charge present. In such a situation, bring a Q1 coulomb of charge from infinity and place at point A. So for that there is no repulsion because only Q1 is brought. Therefore the work done is 0. In the presence of Q1, when you bring the second charge Q2, it will be repelled by Q1. Therefore work has to be done against the repulsion by Q1. Therefore, in the second step, the work done is not 0. It is Q2 times the potential at point B due to the first charge Q1. Then after two charge system is configured, the third charge Q3 is brought from infinity to the point C against the electrical repulsion by how many charges? Two charges. Both Q2 and Q1 will repel. So against the repulsion of these two charges, work has to be done, and hence the third step we have got, and the total energy of the system consisting of three charges we have derived. Have you all understood? Okay, fine. Bye.